So, not a lot of attorneys talk about this. The level of stress that we deal with in our profession is, one of those kind of taboo subjects. I mean, I think more and more the legal profession is dealing with this topic a little more than they used to, but I think still, for the most part, a lot of attorneys don't talk about the stresses that come with the job. And why is this job so stressful? I mean, I think it's because, we're in a service industry, right? Our clients come to us when they have a significant problem. So they're basically hiring us to take care of other people's problems. And that creates a lot of responsibility, right? Oftentimes there's a lot at stake. You don't hire an attorney when everything is going right in your life, right? You usually need to go to an attorney when you're facing some pretty important problem or issue. So, especially for immigration lawyers, I think stress affects us more significantly than other types of areas of law. The stakes are really high, and especially depending on the type of immigration cases that you handle, if you represent clients who are facing deportation, that to me, speaking like personally, is those are the most stressful cases, and especially if you have clients that are detained, that even makes the stress level and the stakes even higher. So, and I think that the reason why a lot of attorneys don't talk about it is because we don't want to, have our clients think that we are not confident, right? And that we are kind of helping them to resolve whatever problems they have. And if clients were to know that their lawyers deal with stress, then they may question whether or not their attorney is really competent. But it is something that is a reality, and whether or not attorneys talk about it or not, it exists. I myself am going through a pretty stressful time because as a solo attorney, I don't have that much staff that I can kind of delegate a lot of the work to. So I am the attorney who is basically conducting all the consultations, handling clients' cases, doing the research. I prepare a lot of my own forms a lot of the time. Even if I'm not the one preparing the forms, I'm reviewing it. And if there's a mistake, then guess what? You're on the hook, right? You have a law license. And if you commit malpractice, then you could have that license suspended or taken away. So that's a lot. That's a lot of responsibility to kind of carry on your shoulders. The reason why these past few weeks have been really stressful for me is because I'm just dealing with deadlines all the time. That's kind of how it is in immigration. USCIS just loves to issue requests for more evidence. They love to kind of shift the burden, and make clients and attorneys kind of prove their case beyond the required burden of proof, right? So let's say even if you file a strong H-1B or O-1 extraordinary ability visa petition, even if you demonstrated that your client meets, let's say, 3 of the criteria for O-1B visas, a pretty high percentage of O-1 visa petitions get met with a request for evidence, right? Sometimes it seems that immigration isn't even carefully reviewing the case. So you have to kind of regurgitate or reiterate things that you've already argued and submitted to immigration. That's just how the agency works. So that kind of increases the workload for clients and attorneys, having to prove time and again that your client qualifies for whatever immigration benefit they're looking for. So this week, I'm pretty much dedicating most of my time working on a request for further evidence for a client of mine who we filed an O-1 petition for. He's an artist. He's been written up by the press. He's exhibited at numerous galleries. He's had his work published in a major volume of contemporary art. And even still, even though the submission was more than 400 pages long, immigration issued a 9-page request for more evidence, claiming that they don't believe that he, has demonstrated that he has extraordinary ability as an artist. It's very frustrating, that when immigration, this is how they react to such a petition. The other thing that's frustrating about immigration law is that the standards are so arbitrary. So you could file the same exact petition and get the totally different result, all depending on what kind of officer is assigned to your case, right? So the same type of case can be approved by immigration with no questions, no request for evidence, and yet if it had been assigned to a different officer, could have resulted in, triggering a 10-page request for evidence. So that alone tells you that the process is not very fair. It's not consistent. It's not uniform. The standards are all over the place. And a lot of the time, it just feels as if we as immigration lawyers are educating immigration officers or reminding them of what the standard of law is. So I thought I would talk about this because oftentimes I don't see a lot of attorneys talking about, the sense of responsibility that we feel. We went into law because we wanted to help clients and get them out of pretty difficult situations. But a lot of the time, what clients don't see behind the scenes is that sometimes, the I guess the weight of having taken on these burdens is something that attorneys have to deal with in a healthy manner, and I know that for myself, when I went to law school, there was no discussion, barely any discussion about well-being. There were no classes about it, dealing with the expectations, right, that we place not only on ourselves, but also that, the public, right, places on attorneys, and especially clients who hire attorneys. I hope that it's a topic that more and more attorneys feel comfortable talking about, because the more it's discussed, the more it encourages other attorneys who are dealing with, mental health and also feelings of anxiety and stress to kind of know that they're not alone, right? Like, stress is something that everybody deals with. I don't really know many people who can say that they experience no stress whatsoever. Life is stressful, but just kind of knowing that, for lawyers, it's something that I think we experience at higher levels, and also because of the way that society at large views attorneys, it's not, some of us may feel a little inhibited talking about it. So I hope to be talking about this space a lot more in the future. I think mental health is extremely important, not just within the legal profession, but for everybody. It's important to recognize when you're starting to feel burnt out or stressed out about the work that you do. Even, non-work situations can cause stress as well. So learning how to cope with stressful situations, it's going to have a deep and lasting impact on overall happiness.